Hello everyone and welcome to the next tutorial on the Java web development series. And in this tutorial I'm going to show you how can you create servlet and uh, how can we perform the servlet mapping, like navigation with servlets, request and response. So let's create. In the last tutorial you have seen like how can we create an interface and pass a URL like this, and we call directly the URL by using package name or the variable name. So if you can see here, so now let's create another servlet. So how to create a servlet? Just right click, all the servlet will come under this controller package. So just right click on this package, go to new and check here for the servlets. If it's not available, go to others and search here for the servlet and select one servlet here, and here you can type a name. For example, I'm going to create a servlet to control the login operation, so it should be login serial. So it means it's going to be perform all the operation from the login controller. So this is the name of my servlet. So for example, now you can see we have two methods, do get and do post, by default in this servlet. So we'll check it later. Let's run this servlet directly and check the URL mapping first, and then I will show you how can you perform the URL mappings in there. So if I run it directly, you can see the URL pattern is project name and then the login controller. So whenever I need to call this servlet, I have to pass this URL, correct? So let's create some mapping here. So we have one tag which is called @ web servlet. So this is the mapping, and I'm gonna put a name here, servlet, and under this I'm gonna use a name. So what is the name of my servlet? And it's login controller, correct? And then I need to add a URL pattern, so I can change the URL pattern according to my requirement. So this time I'm going to use /this. So for example, if I need to call this servlet, I just pass what I need to pass in the URL and the web browser. I just need to pass this URL and then name of this URL pattern that I have provided here, which is the login controller. Login controller. So for easy way, I put the same name. If you want to change the name, you can change it like login servlet. Now you can directly call with this name also. So let's save it and let's change it here a little bit. And we need to restart the server, I guess. And let's run it again. This is running now. Let's run the servlet individually, and you can see it's running. And if I put the login servlet, so just keep it the same, and this is the way of mapping. So you can map your servlet here. And now our main focus was how can we call that URL using servlet. So let's create another variable here which is called public string, and the name will be public string login, and this time it will be login serial. So here in this login serial, I'm gonna put the name as name of my servlets, which is login servlet. So it's login servlet. So let's move it here and check it is correct. Yeah, it's correct. So before this, if you notice, we need to add up for the servlet. We need to add this project name as well. So I'm gonna add app context here app context plus that particular servlet name. Now already also we have this, so this time I'm going to remove that app context, so we'll call directly from this folder, project folder, and login.just view. And now let's move to the login controller, and whenever we are going to call any servlet, it will call by default this toGet method. So here now this time when user going to click on this login button, when user where it is when user is going to call click on this login button, login link, it will call directly to the login controller servlet. So this time we will call the servlet. So when we call this servlet, it will call the toGet method. Now we do not have any design in the servlet, so we have to forward the request to the login view.jsp. So how can we forward the request? So we have one class here which is called request dispatcher. So let me copy the code directly so it will be easy and save our time. So that is, so we have one class here which is called request dispatcher. Let's import the we need to import the package. Okay, provide the page data, and so you can see we are going to import this as a request dispatcher. So I'm going to create an object of this request dispatcher rd.get request dispatcher. Here I need to pass the page name. So what kind on which page I need to forward the request? I need to forward the request to the login view. So this time also I'm going to use the java jwa view dot login view. So this time indirectly it will pass the login view URL here, and we forward the request here rb.forward. So request dot respond. Now let's call the login controller. It's done. Here in the jwa view dot I'm gonna call login controller. So I think now all the problem is solved, and it will run from any of page. It will work any of page. So I'm gonna click on next, finish, restart the server. Yes, it's going to be done. So when I click on the login, it's calling login servlet, but okay, it's going to take another name that we have changed instantly. It should be login controller, correct? So let's clean the project and run it again. Now let me check the Java view as well. Okay, it's login controller servlet here. So I need to change it as a login controller. So you can see it's calling this. So I just change it as a login controller here. Now let's clean the project, and let's clean it and restart the server. Please, I restart the server and this time run it. Again, it's calling login servlet. Exactly, we need to call here login CTL. So it will rewrite like this. So whenever you are going to work with servlet, you have to very careful about the servlet and changes that you are going to, because it's servlet is the changes from the server side. So we have to clean the work directory and the clean the server. So because of cookies, it's take the old changes, and it's really not easy to take reflect the changes instantly in this. So I'm gonna clean it up. And here also let's change something. Let's recompile this code. So how can we recompile this code? Just remove the code, Control S, save it, again paste it, and again save it. Let's try it now. Could work. Fine. So you can see now it's working. So now we are on the login controller, and from any page if you're gonna work, it will work like this. But if I click on the contact us and in any other page, home page, if you call registration, it will not work, but login will work from everywhere. So this is the proper way to manage URLs. In the similar way, we can link this user view. So let's do it very quick. So so to handle the user view or like registration, let's create another servlet. So I'm going to create a servlet which will be our user CTL. So it's going to control the users. And here I'm going to create @web servlet and name. So name will be, I can say, the user control, the same name, and just put a comma, and the URL pattern will be user controllers, correct? System. No, I think I did some mistake here. I need to put it in the curly braces. Yes, I put it in the curly braces, right? So again, let's create a this picture, and should we request this picture id equals to new request this picture. No, it's not this one. We need a simple dispatcher will take pages input. Oh, yeah, no issue. Let's remove this, and here we'll pass a page. Let me move to the controller and check. Okay, request.get request. So it's going to be request. No, man, again I did a mistake. So indirectly we are calling this variable. So I just put a new, remove this new, and request.get request dispatcher, and here I will pass the path, and rb dot forward request. Where is the request is one. So here I need to pass the page. So let's create a view. So let's move to the our interface and create another public string user CTL, and here will be app context plus name of our user controller servlet. So its name is user CTL. Okay, just put the name here, and it's done. Now we need to create a view also. So I'm just going to copy this view and paste this, and here I'm going to enter the user view, and you can see the login view, and we'll replace this user view as a user view. So you can see the name here as a user view, so I put the same name here. This is the name, user view. And now when we are going to hit this servlet, user controller servlet, the page should be redirect on the user view. So I call it as JWA view dot user view. Got it. Now it's fine, it's done. Okay, one more thing is remain. I need to pass the parameter here also. So let's call that servlet here. So when user going to, this is our designing page, and when user going to click on the registration button, it will redirect on the user controller servlet. So I put expression tag here, and I'm gonna call JWA view dot, just call this user controller. Let's done. Let's run the servlets project now, and at this time the URL will work fine. No? Okay, we missed this one slash there. So again we have to do some little bit struggle. This user controller, so this calling here should be user controller like this, right? So let's do where we are doing the mistakes. Okay, I missed one slash here. Again, now I have to clear the servlet workspace directory and all these things. Clean workspace. I want to clean the workspace. Okay, clean the project as well. Okay. Now restart the server and run it. No, I don't think so. It should work now. Yes, it's working. So finally, now from any page you are going to call the URL, it will not going to fail. So you can see. So this is the beauty of servlet response and forward method. So its home page is going to be. We will work with this home page as well. But for the login registration, it will never going to fail. So thank you, and in the same way we can change this home page also. So let's create this link, and in the upcoming tutorial we will cover that home page. So we'll solve this issue like this. When you click here and then click here, click here and click here. No, no, yes, we'll solve this issue. So it's going to be work. And then we'll move to servlet utilities and the database connectivity. Now we can in the next upcoming video we are going to insert the data into the database. So when user going to registration, the data should be inserted into the database, and when user going to log in the application, the data should become. So most probably in next upcoming one or two video will work with the database. Thank you.